the community is just undeniable. You've talked to me about who you're surrounding yourself with, and that's why I come to that group, because I will still love people around me who are drinking, not necessarily doing fitness, but when I need those people, I know where to go to create that. Hey, I feel myself slipping a little bit here, where it's like motivation is temporary, but like the motivational thing is kind of slipping a little bit, or just like drive. You do get burnout points in all this, but that changes so quickly with just the caliber of people.
What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a great day, a great week, and a great March. Today, we get to hear from and speak with Daniel White. And Daniel is absolutely crushing his fitness journey. He has used First Form as a way to be able to gain knowledge, the education, and of course, the community. All of those things behind his journey. He's lost over 200 pounds and is still heading down. So tune into this one, guys. You definitely want to hear from Daniel, hear his story, what he's got going on. And of course, I wanted to remind you guys, during March, we're doing March Madness. So if you head over to the link down below, and also over to the Instagram, if you have Instagram, share the post your ruck every single day, hashtag March Madness, tag me, tag GORUCK. If you don't have those, at least go to the link down below, enter your information. Let's get you entered in on this giveaway. We're giving away a ruck plate carrier and a plate of your choice based on the weight that you need, so that you can up your rucking game and get some awesome equipment from the partner GORUCK. So that being said, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Really excited to share Daniel's story with you. He is an outstanding individual. He's a father, he's a husband, and like I said, has lost over 200 pounds and still heading down. So check this one out, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it. Welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I've got a good buddy of mine here. We've got Daniel White, and we're going to go through his journey, why he's chosen Phorm Outdoors, his journey even before knowing about Phorm and us working together, and how he's gone from 400 pounds plus. I say plus because we don't know exactly the number, because he didn't step on a scale until he was sub 400 a month into his journey, where he was in the 390s. And that's 390 pounds. I just want to make that clear. Not kilograms, it's 390 pounds that he was weighing when he first started, a month into his journey. Didn't want to take pictures, any of that stuff that maybe you guys are going through yourself. Daniel's your guy to he's lived it. He's now literally half of the human that he was weight-wise when he first started. As of today, he is 203 pounds, so half, if not more than half, of what he was when he first started. That is insane. And so I wanted to bring Daniel on because he has worked his butt off. He's still working his butt off. He's crushing it. He's now a Legionnaire with Phorm Outdoors and absolutely loves what he's doing, helping other people, and continuing to pursue his own journey. So that being said, and I forgot to mention, he's our Canadian brother up north. So he loves his maple syrup and his moose riding skills and all of that stuff. I bet the moose appreciate you being half the human that you were. But anyway, with that being said, for people that don't know who you are, Daniel, who are you, man?
All right. Yeah, as Jonathan said, I'm Daniel White. That's my last name. Or if you guys want to find me on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at the Heartbreak Hunter. I am a 37-year-old man into the outdoors. I have a beautiful family, 2 boys. Been with my wife for 12 years and still on that awesome ride with her. And basically, my life is about the outdoors, my family, fitness, and a lot of things that align with Jonathan's podcast. So, anything besides that, I like cooking. I love cooking. My wife and I both have shared cooking experiences at restaurants together. I haven't actually shared a restaurant yet together. I got a brand new lab. Love my pets. Love my dogs. And yeah, other than that, like I said, outdoors, outdoors, outdoors. And I'm working out. Oh, I lost you already for a second.
No, you're good. I muted myself. I pulled a newbie move there. So
All good.
with that being said, guys, Daniel absolutely loves helping other people as well whenever they ask for help, or inviting people on hunts, taking people out and teaching them how to set stands and things along those lines. Daniel's a great resource and absolutely loves that, along with bird hunting, and there's so many other things as well. But I wanted to bring Daniel on because, one, obviously I feel 100% you deserve kudos for the hard work that you've put in. You've 100% earned every single pound lost in this journey that you're on still, because you have goals to get sub 200. And just I want to talk people through kind of a brief synopsis of your journey, kind of your mindset when you first started, and then we'll review some of the struggles that you've overcome throughout this journey up until the point where you're at right now. And then we'll kind of wrap it up there at the end, just talking about your top 3 reasons why Phorm and Phorm Outdoors as a partner in your journey here, why you've chosen that group of individuals to be with you throughout this entire journey. So first and foremost, Daniel what's the word? I can't even English today. But the Daniel that was over 400 pounds, right? Slurping down his maple syrup. No, I'm just kidding. I'm okay. Enough of the Canadian jokes. But Daniel, more than 400 pounds, Daniel, what was your mindset? What clicked for you that made you want to finally say, look, I need to lose this extra weight that's on my body here?
All right. Well, you can blame it on a Canadian thing, which is beer. So that's a big Canadian thing too. And at the time, I was a big guy. I was working a lot for breweries, which was a big passion of mine. And nothing against that industry. There's a time and place for that thing for people. Not my thing anymore, but cool for whoever does. Anyways, moving forward. It was June 2021, and my wife had a seizure, and even at that time, my mind was like, you should do something, man. But us as humans, sometimes we're flawed, and though we say that, we don't really stick up to it. Fast forward to January 6th, I was listening to the MFCEO podcast, which is now the Real AF podcast, suggested by my good friend Bobby, who had been telling me about it forever. And I was slacking again, like, yeah, whatever. MFCEO, yeah, this guy, Andy Frusilla, whatever. Cool. Whatever, man. Then I finally sat down and listened to it, and it just so happens on that weekend, I hear the 75 Hard podcast. And what I had been doing with my life, not that I wasn't a hard worker at my job, not that I can't say I wasn't a good dad, but I definitely wasn't reaching my full potential as a dad, a husband, friend to my friends, or just as a human being to myself. And I was just sitting there. It was a 3-hour drive because I was working as a traveling person at that time. So lucky enough for me, I got to listen to a lot of podcasts. And it was like lightning struck me. It's like, this is it. This is the moment someone is sending me to say, hey man, like, it's time to change. You are on a fine line of potentially you could be diabetic, you could have a heart attack, your wife had a seizure, who knows what is going on with that. Your kids need you need you, your family needs you, your friends need you. And I was quiet about it at first pretty quiet, and I just kind of started it. The only one thing I did was sat down with a good friend and said, just letting you know, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. So let's have one more beer, and that's it. Let's go. And the next day I started it. So you said I didn't weigh myself at first. Just started getting into it. Didn't know about First Phorm, didn't know about the 75 Hard app, didn't know anything except for going to the 75 Hard website and getting an email from Andy saying, these are the 5 steps and do that. So I started in on that and started killing, losing weight. But by the time I weighed myself, as you said, I was 390 pounds still. And even in that made me want to quit right there and then. But I kept going and lost, probably from undereating at that time. So I'm glad that I do proper nutrition now. But at the end of 57 days, because that's how far I made it with my first one, the scale said 290. So I was like, what the heck happened? And then it was very evident that I was under eating because I started getting dizzy spells and all this crazy stuff happening to me. And
so with that being said, you had a lot of stuff going on, and it usually is something specifically like what you were saying that just kind of hits you. So you had kind of a culmination of a lot of things. You had, you hit again over 400 pounds. You were listening to the Andy Frisella podcast, which is funny that someone else recommended it to you, because for me, same thing. My wife recommended it to me back when it was the MFCEO project. And it took me a minute to get over the constant cursing and how he speaks, because he's kind of rough. And then once I started listening to the message, I was like, wow, this dude is super knowledgeable, obviously knows what he's talking about. And so that's cool that was kind of similar for you getting into 75 hard and things like that. You obviously recognize that there was a lot of health risks that come along with being overweight. And honestly, it's crazy. It's crazy to think of what you were trying to do with helping out with breweries, driving, things like that at 400 pounds. You're 200 pounds right now.
close to it, yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah, well, okay, 203. But honestly, what's 3 pounds compared to 200 pounds?
Me. I like to be able
I know. But come on, dude. You've lost over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Give or take 3 pounds, right? You're at 200 pounds right now.
For sure.
Right? Imagine being double your size right now. You can't get in a tree stand.
No.
You can't go hunt the way that you want to hunt. You can't, and even helping with a brewery, lifting things, driving your truck, that had to be exhausting.
Yeah.
Because moving around a 400-pound human being, you're literally, imagine you carrying yourself right now on your shoulders all day.
Absolutely.
That's literally what you were doing. That is insane.
Trying to get there with my rocks, but
yeah, but seriously though, that is crazy to think you had an entire adult male on your back. That is crazy. And so, you hit that point. You went through 75 hard. You've just continued that progress. Yes, there's ups and downs along the way, but if you zoom out of that trend, over 400 pounds down to 203 pounds, that is a very steep downhill slope, and that is outstanding. There's little hiccups here and there, half a pound here, a pound there, just depending on water weight, what are you holding, things like that. But you have absolutely crushed it. So when you and I started working together, you were just under 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And since then, you've lost another 80 plus pounds. Again, it's crazy to see your before and after. And I'm going to throw up the before and after. We're going to do a little time lapse here, kind of at the end of this video. If you're watching it here on YouTube, we'll also put some stuff up on Instagram and do a short here on YouTube as well, just showing your time lapse and all the amazing progress that you've had. You have come across, there's been hiccups. There's people that are telling you that you're leaving them behind, basically, that you're not the same you. Why don't you go out and drink with them? Why don't you do this and that? And I guess talk to people about kind of your mindset, how you've overcome those naysayers that in their minds, you're leaving them behind and they're feeling abandoned, right? So it's not that they're purposefully trying to hurt you, but it is hurtful to hear those things, especially when it's your friends and family that you are, that they feel like you're leaving them behind. How have you overcome those hurdles as you've gone through your transformation?
Honestly, I think it just came down to as simple as I need to keep on doing this. But something even you said that, like, one of those lightning moments, you said this on Boots by the Fire podcast the other day. I was setting a standard of myself for so long that people just expected of me, you know? And all of a sudden, like, I changed that. So I now get why their minds went that way, because as soon as you set a standard of yourself, they kind of like, wait, wait, what? You're leaving me here? So that's where those feelings come from. I totally get that now. But I also had this mindset of they may not see it now, and if I stop now, then they win. If I stop now, then they win, and they could say, "Yep, you failed again. See what I told you," or like, no, it was officially saying you're just gonna fail, but just like there's this vibe of like, cool, we'll see, we'll see what happens. So I just kept the mindset of if I didn't keep going, I just give them all the reason to say, "Yep, just another thing you let yourself down on, let you just fail," you know. So that kept me going a lot. My biggest influence in my whole entire life was my mom. So she's no longer around, but the thought of her kept me going a lot, because I used to use her as an excuse. Her being sick, the stuff that she went through, used to use it as an excuse, and I kind of rebounded it into, who am I to keep on being this person when she fought like heck to the end of her life, the very last minute. She did not give up. How am I honoring that? How am I honoring my life? And I just kept that a lot in my mindset. And yeah, like I said, it just comes down to that. And it comes down to, it's not even like I'm letting you down. I kind of grew that chip on my shoulder where it was like, I have to show someone, but it stopped becoming about that, because eventually, you know, I redid 75 hard and completed it, crushed it, and got to the end of it. Almost got to the end of Live Hard. That's where I met you, and at that certain point, it's just like, keep going, keep going, keep going. And each time you're going to look different. Each time you're going to be different. And those people who were either naysayers or getting confused by the standard of who I was becoming now, who may have been like, well, I guess he's better than me now, or started to see like, wait a second, maybe he wants better for himself, and maybe he wants better for his community as well, or his ecosystem, you know?
Yep, exactly. You know, I don't know how to express how excited I am for what you've done. And I feel like, and for people out there listening, Daniel's a very even keel guy, and he's very humble. So I'm just going to keep reiterating the fact that you lost a freaking 200-pound person.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous, dude. That is crazy. Most people can't even lose 10 pounds without complaining. You have lost 200 pounds of person, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is something that cannot be stated enough as such a big deal, because in all reality, like, there's so much that goes into the fact that, I can't even imagine me being, 250, 260 pounds, let alone 400 pounds, like what that would feel like, the different, like, not being able to fly, or if you do fly, you have to buy the second seat next to you, not being able to fit in certain vehicles, not being able to carry your kids, not being able to get in a tree stand, not being able to hike the mountains, not being able to do so many things. And in reality, it's self-imposed. It's a choice that you've made, small little choices throughout your life to get to that weight.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to make those changes when you were in your 30s. I mean, that's over 30 years of habits that you had to break and create new habits to be able to lose 200 pounds. And you're still creating habits right now. But I'm telling you guys out there listening, Daniel is someone that he's constantly trying to fit everything in. He's working a 9 to 5. He's got kids. He has dogs to take care of. He's maintaining his relationship with his wife. He is now, like I said, a Legionnaire. He is always out there trying to get his second workout in with his rucks. Sometimes it's late at night. Sometimes it's early in the morning. Trying to fit everything in, manage that, and a lot of people can't even manage half of that. In all reality, they can't. They just can't manage even having a family, let alone making all the changes that you've done. You've gone through various jobs. You just recently got rid of, your brewing equipment.
Yeah.
You mentioned that. Walk us through that, because that was something that you told me specifically you were kind of holding on to, and that was something that had a lot of sentimental value to you, and you were holding on to it, but you realized that was something that was holding you back in your, like, continually thinking of your previous life. And you made a shift in your mindset, because people listening know that I don't drink. I never have drank, but I also don't look down on people that do drink. If you guys listened to the Dale Beatty podcast, Dale was someone who drank and partied and did stuff like that. And he said that drinking, like, he tells people, like, you just shouldn't drink. From someone like me that has never drank, I'm going to tell you why I don't and why I recommend that you don't. But from someone like him, and then you've made that choice as well, to get rid of this brewing equipment that was sentimental to you, held you in a little bit of your past life. Walk us through that mindset and why you decided to sell off that equipment and get rid of an anchor that you've explained to me was kind of anchoring you back there. Why did you choose to do that?
Yeah, that was a hard choice to make, because, that was almost a 10-year journey of wanting to brew and get there, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's, by all means, I will not trash that industry, because it's a hard job, but on the other end of it, there's the consumption part, and there's a dream of people just enjoying the product you make, but there's also the overindulging. And for me, with the weight and with the drinking, I'll say this, we talked about our outdoors life. You just talked about stands and stuff, and there's a picture my friend Bobby took of me. One of the first pictures he took out of me on the first days I was out at the hunting property we have together, and I was just walking, and I was out of breath, and I was hungover. And even at that point, I was just like, what am I doing to myself? Like, this is the life it's just creating and all that. And what really made me let it go was, funny enough, another one of our crew members, Mac, messaged me this thing. There's a video talking about what Jake says all the time is nothing changes if nothing changes. And what does that really mean? And sometimes you have to ask yourself, if you're personally not a religious person, if you are a religious person, sometimes you got to ask God, say, what do I need to let go of that's holding me back from my full potential? And that was it. And it skyrocketed me through a lot of things. Like, there's so much to talk about with that. Like the deer behind me, that was the first time I was ever, well, not first time, but that whole season, that was during 75 hard. And that was my one that I've done 2 successful ones now, but that was my first successful one. And I was not hungover one day. And to promote this message of get outdoors, promote this message of get in shape, and all that. I know the one thing that's gonna help is a suppressor. It suppresses a lot of things. It's not taking a personal trainer course right now. Am I ever gonna tell people they fully have to stop? No, because that's their personal choice. I can't tell them to change personal choices. I will tell them like how it's affecting them and maybe to work it into their nutrition. But if I can make them see like, one, what it's doing to your mental, and 2, what it's doing to your weight, and then also just the constant fog you're in. Like I don't know how to explain it, especially for someone who's never drinking, but there is like a constant fog. Just a constant fog. I want to touch a little bit on something here. I'm kind of going off the rails here, but I was talking to my friend again and telling him about the revelations I've had through this. Like just reveals things. Not just 75 hard, but like the whole fitness journey, there's things when I'm standing in the gym and all of a sudden something will come to me. I'm like, whoa, what was that? I think about the 90s. Yes, I'm an 86 baby. But I think about the 90s, and my parents weren't big on this, but I did have outside influence, and now I'm the influence on my children. I am the example. I have to lead by example for my children. So a lot of the example back then was I had a hard work week, son, or I had a hard work week, so guess what I get to do on the weekend? I get to go and have a beer. So we get this mindset, even though we're adults now, is like, well, that's what I deserve now. That's what I deserve. Don't I? Isn't that what I deserve? But wait, now you have kids. Now you're the example. So do you really deserve that? Or should you really be in that moment of like, should I just set another generation to believe that's what they deserve at the end of the hard work week? Or do they deserve a peace of mind that they're doing better things, good things for their ecosystem that can create fulfillment more than just a substance? It was a wild thought that I didn't say it all right, but it was just a wild thought of like, wow, like how many people in my life legitimately work so dang hard. And don't get me wrong, okay, yeah, sometimes when you're a CEO or whatever, sometimes it's expected, but that whole mentality of like, what does that come from? It comes from because as the leaders of our family, we are the examples, and yes, they do become grown-ups at some point, but somewhere in there, like we're all hard drives. What's written on us all the time. So it's gonna be in there like, well, yeah, I deserve that beer. Like since I get a crappy paycheck or since I get this, I deserve the substance. And the only problem I will say with that is it starts numbing you to it. And sometimes you gotta live in the reality. Like reality still exists, obviously, but sometimes it takes you away from reality. And though reality is scary, if you can just give it a little bit of time, you start finding a way to like, all right, it's okay. It's all right to live like this. It's okay to just not want it. And people ask me all the time, am I going to drink again, ever drink again? I know the answer to that right now is no. I think the answer is going to be no to that for a long time, for probably the rest of my life. I don't want to promise it, but I'm going to give it one more day because that being there for people out in the outdoor space or in my general community, like talking about my mom passing, the way that I have family, yes, I have a brother, yes, I have my dad, but beyond that, a lot of my family's down in the States, so how I create family for myself is my friends and the people who I hunt with, share outdoors with, share things with. I just gotta show up like for them the best I can be, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a big driver, man. And it's interesting as I get older, understanding even more that I'm personally glad I never got wrapped up in drinking and alcohol. I don't know where it could have ended up for me. I don't think I have any alcoholic genes in my family, but I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it. I just know, like, from my perspective, seeing people and how when they drink, like the faces that they make, that was enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I want to spend $10 on that drink that's gonna make my face look like that because it burns when it's like stuff, just all of that stuff. It just, to me, I joke about it, but at the same time, like, it's kind of really why I never got into it, because I saw how other people either acted when they were drunk because they didn't know how to drink socially, they were just kind of getting drunk, or how certain people reacted when they would drink, and and how their faces were. So, all of that being said, like, there seems like there's been a lot of changes, and I want people to recognize that through your life. You've made a crap ton of changes, and it hasn't all been at once. You've made changes gradually, right? There was a lot of stuff that you changed immediately, but there were other things that you gradually added on. You realized, okay, I'm good here. I've hit these goals. Now I can add something else, and then I can stack that, and your habit stacking to where, things will fit in. Like, you could hop on a call while you're out rucking, or you can do this while you're out doing that, and you can combine this with that. Like, your habit stacking, which is a very big deal for people that are successful in whatever it is that they're doing. You're able to show your kids, that you care so much about them that you're literally willing to lose half of your body fat, or half of your body size. Not half your body fat, you're losing like all your body fat, but you're willing to do that for them because you care about them so much. You want to be around for them longer, and it's really sad when there's people, and we've had this discussion, you've got family members that still are in that victim mentality and stuck in their ways. And it's sad. It sucks because how happy you feel. And even though you're a very even keel guy and you're not a very emotional guy, I think I've only heard like once or twice where you've genuinely shown emotion, where you were either upset about something or super excited about something. But I mean, dude, 200 pounds. That's freaking ridiculous. That is awesome. And when we break 200, we're going to have to do something where you come down to the US and we go do an archery shoot or something like that. I don't know. We got to figure something out to celebrate that. But anyway, all I want to point out to people is the fact that you are crushing it, and it is a gradual thing. And how many years have you been doing this? I know how long we've been working on this together. When did you start? 400 plus pound Daniel, when did you start?
So that was I would consider day one, January 8th, 2022. And
Okay.
it's now 2024.
2 years.
So 2 years. Yeah.
100 pounds a year, man. That is, dude, seriously. Like, I was thinking it was like 3 or 4 years, which is still, that's a huge accomplishment. But again, some people can't even dedicate themselves to lose 10 pounds in a year. You've done 10x that for 2 years in a row. So again, some people can't even hold a job down without getting bored for 1 year. And you've been consistent on weight loss for 2 whole years. 2 years, 200 pounds. That is a huge accomplishment. I don't think I can state that enough, and I don't want that to be understated here. Like, you have accomplished a crap ton. Now you are a Legionnaire with First Phorm Outdoors. You're absolutely killing it. I love the impact that you have in the space, especially up there in Canada with your friends, your family members. Guys, I highly recommend, if you have questions, if you are in that spot that maybe you feel like no one else understands, if you are, pushing an extreme amount of weight, which, by the way, I haven't even stated your height. Daniel's 5'11", so he's not some NFL sized dude. Like, Daniel is 5'11", normal sized guy, 400 pounds. Like, that is mind blowing to me. That it's crazy. Like, I can't say that enough. And I say it because you're not getting so emotional about it.
I
am so
want to
stoked.
interject you so bad right now, or interrupt you so bad right now because it's funny.
Why?
Oh, just because, like, when you just said normal size, it's funny because my friend Bobby used to call me Big Daniel, and as soon as I started losing weight, like a lot of weight, or like every time he for a while, he was like big. I mean, the normal Daniel, normal size Daniel, small. I don't even know anymore. So I just was laughing at that, and you sparked something in my mind. Was you asked me about how I've gotten through a lot of stuff, and one of my secrets was you and I have had this conversation, but it was funny to me when I explain people what I'm doing, or sometimes when I do my 2:30 in the morning workouts, because I promise that this won't. I used to work 16-hour days, and I wanted things to stop getting in the way of my kids. Time with my kids. I was losing time for me and my kids, but so sometimes it just has to happen at 2:30 in the morning. But when people said, and I'm not going to swear, I'll just say the short form of this, but when people were saying F that was my fire right there. That after listening to that podcast, a lot of the podcasts, when he says, do the things that others won't, that's like, that turned on the switch of, like, every time I heard F that's something I had to do right then and there. Almost like the yes man, but not being the yes man of, like, all right, if you won't do it, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it every time. So yeah, what are you doing? I'm not drinking alcohol. F that. What do you got to do? Do 2 workouts a day. F that. What do you got to do to take a progress picture? F that. Or, and it's just like, we get into the piece of, like, what you say is what you become, your thoughts or things, whatever. But, like, as soon as you say that, you set your destination almost. So as soon as I said, I'm doing 75 hard, I am no more of this. I cannot be the man who is not, like, again, I said I was there for my family, but at that time, my feelings were failure to my family. No more. And it was a clear result. You want to see my emotion and excitement. Like, it was a clear result. At 300 pounds, and my son goes, Daddy, you know that you no longer drink beer, your belly's not as big, and I like that. Or, I'm so glad you're doing this for me. And, like, they're not excuses. Like, your kids aren't excuses. They're not in your way. Like, sometimes, like I said, you gotta make late nights, early mornings, whatever you have to do, or include them. You're not hurting them by putting them on a walk. You're not hurting them by, like, my 5-year-old, my friend lends me weights, because he kept on trying to lift weights that I had around that were way too heavy for him, afraid to drop me. But I remember when I was a kid, when I used to do that, and sometimes it's just like, oh, no. But now I'm just like, you know what? No, yeah, like, let's keep this going. Like, anything I can do to, like, let's keep that going. That's what excites me. Or my almost 8-year-old now. Oh, do I get to take your progress picture this week? Or I try and take the time off my cell phone. There's times during the day like that, just to let you all know that's where you're being a slave is. I always set specific times during the day where it's like, okay, 15 minutes, made my post, did my thing, whatever, phone's going away. If I have to throw it in the water for all I care, it's going. But sometimes my son will catch me and putting in my meal plans or like tracking my stuff, pre-tracking. And he's like, "Oh, Dad, you pre-tracking and talking about that example thing." And instead of like Dad coming home drinking like beer every day, or Dad's drinking 12 beers again, you know, he was going, both of them, not just he, because I have 2 he's, but they were going to be a product of me. And I wasn't gonna let that happen anymore. Of like, that's not the product I want to be putting out in the world. Again, I know I don't have control over their lives. There might be things I get into, but that's not the product I want to be putting out. Or like, they're not products, but you know what I mean. Like, that's not the sons I want to be sending out in the world. We were actually having a really good conversation. I think it was yesterday, my boys and I, about values. And it's okay to have them. And standards.
Yep, 100%. I definitely, I couldn't agree with you more. And I love, and as a dad, and anyone listening that is a dad can understand when your kids say things like that, it can wrench at your heart and keep you going forward. That can be worth more than any gold or any money that people could pay you to lose the weight. The fact that your kids notice it and that you know you are changing your family tree, it's worth more than anything. So again, I appreciate you sharing that Daniel. Here, just to wrap it up, just give us a quick top 3 reasons why anyone should join First Phorm Outdoors community, whether it be on Facebook, following on Instagram, reaching out to us at First Phorm Outdoors, coming to any events we have. Why should people choose that over any other company that is out there? And there's many great ones out there, but why First Phorm Outdoors? What are your top 3 reasons?
Honestly, it's indescribable sometimes of the community that's in there. The first one I can explain, like, the mindset. You join these hunting groups, and the first thing you see is people trashing each other. And if there is any type of negativity, sometimes I don't know if it's because of their days, or sometimes I don't know if they detach themselves from it for a minute and really think where this person is coming from. Even if there's any type of negativity, it seems like moderators like Jake or Kaylee, like real people, eventually come in. They don't just kick people. They don't just kick people out, say, hey, they have an actual conversation with a person and say, hey, just to let you know, that's not what we do here. Maybe we could have personally connected and had a conversation instead of posting on the wall or something. And then they do have a personal conversation. And that's just it. Like, the first mindset that comes to my mind is what's also helped me try and create it into my environment and how can I affect my environment. But the one story Jake has about someone stealing his tree stand. And I am 100% sure there was probably a bunch of curse words said and initial frustration. But the mindset to finally calm down and say, good, maybe that person could have used it more than me. Well, I don't know why those types of things hit me so hard, but that like creates this whole like chain reaction in me to how can I help people? How can I get them out? Even though some of my friends shoot crossbows and they're somewhat simple to figure out, but how can I get my friends out to sight in their crossbow? Oh, I'm new to this property, man. I don't know anything about, well, not anything about building a tree stand, but how should we build this tree stand? Or summertime when I had a bunch of people out trap shooting and everyone was just getting along. There's no like, there was crap talk like, hey, hey, you just missed it 5 million times, but there's nothing anything like negative. But that's the first and most thing is that everyone is so welcoming. There's one or two times there's been maybe negativity, but you already know that there's people to handle that, and even sometimes you can be the person to handle that. There's no harm, no foul if you're the person handling that. Second reason, honestly, like the people that I talked about, Jake, there's people like you, like there's people like Kaylee, there's people like Clint Kingston, there's people like Dale, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And you can either look at you guys like must be nice, or you can have the mindset of, whoa, wait a second, that's a high caliber person. And wait a second, they believe I can be that too? They believe in that? They're not there to like, yeah, man, I'm this high caliber person. Wait a second. They truly believe in that you can be that person, not just in your life, but one of the most important things, especially nowadays, is conserving thoughts and acts and just general knowledge of the outdoors. They want to, like, we want to conserve that. We want to not only conserve that, but we also want to bring it into this whole new realm of we can be different again. So I'm trying to keep myself on track here, but again, I'm going to talk about the beer piece. I'm sure people in our group drink beer after hunt. I'm sure there's people in there that, but most of the time it's about outdoors and fitness, people living the highest quality of life, not saying you're terrible for not being that, but join to take the step to having a higher quality of life. And we will walk you through it to a point where we don't have to hold your hand anymore, but we will walk you through how you can get there. Like, even if you have no knowledge of how do I become fit, like, you have to become fit to be outdoors, even if you have a simple situation. How I whitetail hunt up here, but how I waterfowl hunt, talk about waterfowl hunting, you gotta carry decoys, you gotta sometimes lift the boat, you gotta paddle boats, you gotta do all kinds of things. And it's not the third thing I will say is that it's not even just about hunting. It might bother your brain if you have a short attention span, like, oh my god, there's so many things. There's people who love Jeeps, there's people who love to mud, there's people who love to hike, and that's the most awesome thing about it is even if you're not fully into that, if you had some sort of even just small little spark of, hey, like, hey, I wanna learn more about motocross or something, or like I can't even explain it real properly, but there's people who do like things you would never think of, like equestrian people with horses, and sure that may not be your thing, but you can definitely get a little bit of insight into it. But wrap it all up, the community is just undeniable. you know, you've talked to me about who you're surrounding yourself with, and that's why I come to that group, because I will still love people around me who are drinking, not necessarily doing fitness, but when I need those people, I know where to go to create that. Hey, I feel myself slipping a little bit here, where it's like motivation is temporary, but like the motivational thing is kind of slipping a little bit, or just like drive. You do get burnout points in all this, but that changes so quickly with just the caliber of people, men,
Well,
women.
and the thing is that, and I heard this said the other day, and it rings true. I've said parts of this before, but putting it all together, motivation is temporary, but if you act motivated and you go and do the thing, I mean, just because it's fake motivation, it's still motivation.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like doing something, getting up and going and doing it, making yourself going and doing it. If you're not brave, if you don't feel brave, but you still go and do the thing, guess what? That's real bravery. And people don't realize that it's not that there's some, like Daniel had this miracle thing happen where all of a sudden he stayed motivated for 2 years. Guys, I guarantee you Daniel had many days where he was not freaking motivated to go out and walk in the cold snow and not eat his maple syrup, right? That is not something that was in Daniel's bones on most of the days. Guess what? He still got up and still did it. It's not something that you always have to feel motivated for. That's when discipline kicks in. There's going to be days where you're feeling awesome. You've got a great playlist going. You're just super amped. And then the next day you could be down in the dumps and not even want to go to the gym or go and do your walk outside or your ruck or your hike or whatever it is that you're doing outside. That's okay. But guess what? You've built up the discipline to go and do it anyway. And then when you're done, you're going to feel great. But you don't always have to feel like you're ready to do it right now. So that's where the community kicks in, like what Daniel's saying. All right. So I guess the last two things real quick. What are the other two things that you'd recommend, or why first Phorm Outdoors for someone that maybe they come up to you in the street and they say, all right, give me your top 3 reasons why first Phorm Outdoors. You've given community. What are the next two right here to sum it up?
Information. Honestly, you have questions. Yeah, information. Nutrition. Like, it's not just like, hey, we're fit. Cool, we're just going to leave. We're fit. We have these pictures of us fit. No, there's like Tuesday where Kaylee will come in here. What a firecracker she is, by the way. Oh my God. You want to talk about drive. But,
she is no different in person either.
Yeah.
She is very much a driven individual, that's for sure.
But, that, yeah, it's so hard to just not just make it about community, but information, because there's her, there's you who jump on, there's Tom who jumps on, these people, like, it's just like me, taking time out of their day, not like it's it becomes time for sure, but these people take time to get out and give you the information to not just get you your fitness results, like not just a fitness company, but get you to outdoors results, information like, hey, Jonathan, I'm coming down to Utah for a elk hunt. What do you got for me? Or, that's what I was talking about before too, question people, hey, I want to take my kids somewhere horse riding. What do you guys recommend? Or just the information piece that you can just get something from someone in there.
Yeah. It's not just a shove it in your face, here, take these supplements, there you go, good job, and done. It's very much, there's a lot of education behind it. I would agree 100%. And what would be your third reason why first Phorm Outdoors?
Third reason. Oh, man.
So we got community, education,
Education.
/ information,
Yeah.
and
Just, it's like I said, the level of just being a bit better in life. I don't know what to put that into words, but it's the mission for me. It's I have no problem sharing that information, but the mission, that's what I'm saying. The mission is like, I have no problem sharing that information, or like, there's never anybody who's just like, yeah, don't come here. Like, you better not come on my land. And it's the mission, like I said earlier, it's the mission to change how we think about the outdoor space. We're not just, if you want to get all Canadian, we're not just burly, plaid, beer slinging, gun slinging, poor English, even though both of us have had moments of slipping on Englishing people, you know? It's just that. It's the mission. We want to put a different mindset that we're not just like one tiny thing. And that's where I see like the not even just we, but like the people who started that have so many more plans. I may not know all of them, but some of the things you see to constantly come out, you're just like, whoa, holy, this is bigger than some small face group, you know?
Yep.
I don't know how to put it, but mission.
No, you're good. Yeah, the mission. Get real people, long-term, lasting results. And with First Phorm Outdoors, we add to that by saying we want people to experience more. So getting long-term lasting results, real people getting long-term lasting results and experiencing more of life, whatever it is that your passion is for the outdoors. You can be, maybe you're not into hunting. That's fine. No big deal. It doesn't have to be all about hunting. It could be about target archery. It could be about 3D archery. It could be about skeet shooting. It could be about fishing. It could be about camping, hiking, whatever you want to do in the outdoors. Maybe you want to do all the 14ers. Maybe you want to do, some crazy backpacking trip, whatever. It doesn't matter. If it involves the outdoors, we want you to experience more of it. We want you to be able to pass that down to your kids, your grandkids, and your great grandkids because you took control of your health. And just like Daniel here, you lost the appropriate amount of weight that you needed to get to a spot to where you could experience more of the outdoors. You could have long-term lasting results to where your kids see that change that you made. Your family, your loved ones can see the change that you made, and it makes an impact on them. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually it will. And that's what we want for you. And that's what we're all about at First Phorm and First Phorm Outdoors. So again, Daniel, I really appreciate everything that you've shared today. It's been a blast. I wanted to kind of bring the curtain back on our conversations because we've been talking for a while and been helping you through your journey. Honestly, guys, I can't take a lot of the credit. I just kind of took Daniel. I put some guardrails up, and Daniel just went freaking like a Ferrari, just right down the road, and handled those guardrails like it was nothing. Crushed it so far, and is still crushing it. I mean, next time we talk, you'll probably be sub 200 or right at 200 pounds. So you are killing it, slow and steady. And I would say it's fast and steady because honestly, 200 pounds in 2 years, that is crazy results. So it works, guys. Again, Daniel, thank you so much for sharing your top 3 reasons First Phorm Outdoors. For people that don't know, I'm going to leave a link down below where you can find Daniel, where you can find the First Phorm Outdoors community, where you can meet other individuals, again, like-minded individuals, find someone that is into whatever it is that you're into in the outdoors. Maybe you'll find another family to go camping with. You'll find people that are into bass fishing. We've got pro bass fishermen. We've got professional hunters, we've got CrossFitters, we've got a crazy mix of things in the group that you can get involved in and get to know these people, just like Daniel has, and make your results real and long lasting. And that's what we want, so that you can experience more of the outdoors. So again, thank you so much, Daniel, for hopping on. Guys, again, thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to Daniel as well if you feel like you relate with Daniel's story. He will definitely guide you in the right direction. We'll make sure that you guys are taken care of. And like I always say, get out, live your life, and love it.
Appreciate you, man.